Bolt Action's rule set, you get a pretty good variety of effects and encounters you can have on the battlefield, but sometimes you want a little more flavor. Sometimes you want to kind of rebalance things the way you think they should be, so that's where house rules come in. Whether it's for a specific scenario or for the way you guys play in your local game group, that's where house rules come in. Today we're going to start a series of house rules for Bolt Action that we've come up with in our area. Some we use regularly, some we use occasionally on a scenario, some we're still experimenting with. So this is a chance to offer those up and start a discussion, because together we'll all be able to make the house rules better by offering our suggestions and tweaking for improvements. So let's go down to the classroom and we'll start with our very first house rule. Alright, so welcome to today's Bolt Action Basic Training video. Now, we're going to be talking about house rules as you're going to see in the next several videos. Remember, house rules are very local. You're not going to run into these across the board, but it's a way to do one of two things: either enhance a specific scenario, or in general enhance your group's experience playing Bolt Action. So what I'm going to be offering in these videos is a few ideas that I think well, definitely, in my opinion, make the game better. But again, it's my opinion. Yours can differ. It's entirely fine. Let's have a discussion here. Let's bring up ideas. And what we can do is, in the comments below, kind of give your thoughts. Let's look at, what are your alternatives? Mention what might be improved off of the ideas I'm going to be presenting. Because together, with this conversation, we can all learn and maybe come up with even better rules, house rules for this, to enhance our fun for the game. Alright, so today, we're going to start off with smoke. Now, there's a lot to talk about in the space of smoke, but today we're going to be specific about what happens when you miss your ranging in shot. Now, the rules is written, the opponent gets to scatter it up to 12 inches away from the aiming point. Now, it's kind of odd. This is one of the reasons I came up with this. First of all, the opponent can move it wherever he feels like. So it's like both of you, neither of you, one of you is definitely not going to benefit. It's going to be you, the one who fired it, more often than not. So why would you ever fire smoke, right? The other thing I noticed is, well, you know what? The light mortar, which in the case of the British, more rounds, smoke rounds, were fired from a light mortar than ever were fired that were fragmentation. That's what the light mortar was there for. And it was crucial to their tactics by putting that smoke screen down. So if I'm going to fire a light mortar out to 24 inches, minimum 12, and I scatter up to 12 inches, my opponent can put it where he wants, I have to be holding that mortar tube in a completely weird direction to get that kind of distance in such a short range. So, it just didn't feel right. To me, it kind of messed up my immersion. But you know what? That's me. So, here's what I did. I came up with an idea. I'm not brilliant or anything. This is just something we came up with using some old rules, ideas from other game systems, and incorporated. Now, instead of the opponent placing the smoke, why not scatter it? They scatter the artillery barrage on a 1, so the scatter mechanic's already in Bolt Action. So let's just use it for smoke. So, when you range, you pick your point like you normally do. Fire. If you miss, you keep the die there. That's your marker. It's a 5 or less next time to hit. But instead of the opponent placing it wherever he wants, what you do is you use an order die and the little arrow on top of it. That's your pointer, that's your arrow pointer. You roll that to determine the direction, and then you scatter it 2d6. So now it's between 2 and 12 inches that it scatters, usually about half that. And that's actually pretty good. Now, you can actually see this in play because we did officially use this in our Clash of Heroes season, basically. And you get to see the difference it makes when using smoke compared to the opponent getting in place. You make up your own mind after watching a few of those scenarios. So, because you're scattering randomly, there is one additional modification of the rules. Normally, the opponent, when he places it, he cannot place the smoke marker overlapping another smoke marker. Well, since this is random, we let that happen. If it overlaps, it overlaps. You know what? Your mortar shell came down, scattered, and it came down close to the original head. So yeah, your smoke is not going to get bigger, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons Warlord did that by making it bigger. It's kind of maybe it's their way of trying to help the opponent actually get a success on a fail. So, but anyway, it's the best way to do this from what we found is you scatter it normally, as described, 2d6, and if it happens to overlap the other template, so be it. That's just the way it is. Okay. But anyway, it's a simple mechanic. It doesn't add much to the game. It can harm the fire as much as it can help. It can harm the opponent as much as help the opponent. So it's a lot. The randomness is kind of neat. It puts a little bit of tension in. That's kind of nice, and voila, you have smoke becomes more viable because at least it's within, more often than not, 6 or 7 inches of where you wanted it. If you're scattering a 3-inch template, so smoke template for a light mortar, or 4 inches for a medium mortar, you know what? That actually it can help you. It may not be exactly where you wanted it, but it still might benefit. So that's kind of the idea we have for that. So kind of talk below. Go over to one of the Clash of Heroes videos, especially later ones. You'll see a lot of smoke being thrown, mostly because we are using this rule. So let me know what you think. Share, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.